Guy Howdy, and welcome back to another episode of World Bigfoot Radio. Hello, everybody, and it's time for our annual check-in with Kelly Shaw at Rocky Mountain Sasquatch to get all the updates on what those amazing folks and Kelly have been doing for the last year.
In the fall, we did a Bigfoot expedition to southern Colorado, northern New Mexico. We were there to check out Missionary Ridge, where there's a couple of Bigfoot sightings, and I wanted to get to Three Sister Peaks because one of my favorite Bigfoot sighting reports in the area is Three Sister Peaks of Colorado. And on our way into Three Sister Peaks, we just stopped at a random place on Devil's Mountain. Dirt road in the middle of nowhere. Just found a random place we could pull off to make a sandwich. I saw like a 6-foot tall stick structure in the forest, and I'm like, oh, whoa, person.
Again, this isn't a campground. This is just a random spot on the side of the road.
Well, and I'm blaming it on a person. It's small. Person could easily make it, whatever. But I thought that, hey, I'll film myself walking to it and everything. And as I'm filming walking to it, down in the draw below me, I see movement. We stopped at a random spot with a great view to have a sandwich. While Jenny made us some sandwiches, I went to take photos and film some of the amazing views. I spotted a small stick structure in the woods, and even though I automatically blamed the structure on something more than likely human-made, I decided to film the woods as I walked up to it so that I could film it too. As I was walking towards the structure, I spotted something moving down in the thick draw that leads to the Piedra River. So I panned the camera towards the movement and began to zoom in to the area where I saw it moving, hoping to capture wildlife on camera. After zooming in, I never did see movement again, nor was I able to identify what had moved in the draw that caught my attention. I was blaming it on a deer. However, I don't know what it was. After that, I walked to the stick structure, got the footage I was after, and stopped filming and began to walk back towards the little dirt road and vehicle. I then heard Jenny snap the cooler shut. Then a second or two later, there was a distinct wood knock, a loud wood knock in response, in the draw that sounded like it came from the spot that I had seen movement a minute or two earlier. I want to show you the footage of the area that I saw movement and use software to zoom in even further to see if you can spot something that I may have missed. There was something there, and whatever it was also seemed to know how to make a loud wood knock too. Interesting set of events at a random place we had stopped for lunch. It seems we get more action at unexpected places in between Bigfoot sighting locations than we do at the actual locations. Goes to show that Sasquatch doesn't sit and hang around at the last place he was spotted. As elusive as the creature is, and how rare sightings are, there probably aren't very many of these creatures, and their personal territories are more than likely very large, and that makes it very difficult to pinpoint when and where a Bigfoot is in a given area. And even if you can figure out where one is, good luck spotting this master of camouflage in its own habitat that makes a cognizant effort at hiding from people. Mountain lion are plentiful in comparison to Bigfoot, and mountain lion are rarely seen in the wild too. They make a cognizant effort at hiding from everything, prey, rivals, threats, and if they do get curious and come in for a look, they make sure to come up from behind with plenty of cover. We really enjoy visiting sighting locations in the Rocky Mountains, and beautiful, colorful Colorado is always a special treat. The Rockies in Colorado boast the most reported Bigfoot sightings in all the Rockies of North America. Personally, I believe it's because this stretch of Rockies has some of the highest peaks and ridges in all of the Rockies, and Bigfoot seems to like high elevation habitat. Hope you enjoyed a personal experience while out on an expedition in the San Juan mountain range on Devil Mountain. A couple of weeks after we posted that footage, a guy 2 weeks after we had been there, Vallecito Reservoir near Durango, Colorado, he photographed a Bigfoot trackway there that's really awesome. And this is crazy. Jenny and I had narrowed down 2 places that we wanted to have our Bigfoot base camp for the week that we were spending there. And Vallecito Reservoir was actually one of the places because they have some campgrounds nearby. We decided on a different spot, probably 10 miles away, but we almost camped right where the dude got Bigfoot tracks, and that's kind of in between. There's Missionary Ridge, Vallecito Reservoir, and then Devil's Mountain and Three Sisters Peak. So it was right in the middle of everywhere we wanted to be. So that's pretty cool. That really awesome footprints showing that there was a Bigfoot in the area within 2 weeks, evidence of a Bigfoot within 2 weeks of us being there. So maybe we did have some Bigfoot action on Devil's Mountain. It was pretty compelling what happened, the footage that I got. Something.
Well, I've looked at
human
it.
shape.
My analysis is that, like Kelly says, well, I'm not saying it's a Bigfoot. Okay, I'll say that. It was a Bigfoot. And that's my analysis. That was a Bigfoot. So the other thing that's kind of interesting here is, again, it's the sighting clusters, report clusters in any given area. For you guys out there that want to actually do your own field research, that's a great thing to look for. If there's been more than one sighting in an area, it's indicative that they may be lingering in that area, which gives you maximum opportunity to find track structures, hear vocalizations, maybe catch sight of one of them. So, that's a good place to start from.
Something else I would like to add, I forgot to state this. It just so happened the salmon were spawning up the creeks.
Wow.
Vallecito Reservoir. So it was during salmon spawning time that those tracks were there. So, yeah, I don't know if it's just a coincidence that the salmon are spawning and the Bigfoot tracks are there, or if the Bigfoot was there for the actual salmon run.
Yeah, just like a bear would be in Alaska or something. Oh, hey, it's time for the fish to be all over the place in the river and easy to grab them and yum, yum. I'm heading over there. Mm-hmm. Masters of their environment, like we were talking about before. They know where the berry bushes are. They know when they're going to be ripe. They know what areas of mushrooms are going to pop up in the spring. They know when they're liable to be there. So they just roam around this range that they've got, eating the smorgasbord that nature is making for them. They eat things like grass and bark and all kinds of weird stuff we can't eat. So they've got quite the choice of different dietary additives that they may or may not feel like consuming as they're near them and they're ripe. And then that doesn't even bring up the question of, are they saving any of this and preserving it? Are they stashing it underground and eating it during the winter? They're certainly smart enough to know how to do that. I'd lean heavily toward it.
Yeah, and the entire outdoors in the wintertime is a freezer. So their food storage would stay good most of the winter, in my opinion. A lot of animals prefer to eat meat after it started to rot.
Yep.
And so why wouldn't a Bigfoot? As a matter of fact, mountain lion, it'll take down a deer, it'll take all the innards and organs, and then it'll bury the corpse, and it'll let it rot for a couple of days to a week before it comes back and eats it, because I guess it like tenderizes it. I mean, make us sick, probably kill us to eat rotten meat like that, but that's the way the animals prefer it. Yeah, bears and stuff, they'll even bury meat and let it age for a couple of days, or like literally they'll throw a mound of dirt over something that they killed, and then they'll come back a couple of days later and eat on its mark, bury it again. So yeah, they do that. The other thing is that if the Bigfoot, as we suspect, are also being subterranean and probably staying there a lot during the winter, the temperature inside of a cave is like around 52 degrees. So I mean, that's kind of a refrigerator all by itself. And if you've already dried out meat or vegetables or whatever it is that you're going to try and save, they're going to last even longer in conditions like that. Yep.
The other thing was, of course, the stuff that's been sent into you by people. What was last year where you got that video clip going, the Bigfoot wading across the river in Michigan that the kayakers sent in. And then you got the video clip of the boater catching one walking around on the shore that what everybody assumed was an island at that point, but turned out to be a peninsula. So Kelly gets some of this really cool stuff sent into him from other people. They get some great captures, and then sometimes he's lucky enough that they'll let him actually share them. So that's another thing to look at over on his channel, because it's not only just his stuff. He gets some really great stuff from other parts of the country shared to him too.
Yeah, sometimes people don't they want to remain anonymous. They don't have a YouTube channel, don't care to post it and send it to us to post it. But something that was really cool that was brought to my attention was a guy's like, you got to check this out on Les Stroud's survival video. And so I went and looked at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, Les Stroud's in the Romania mountains. And it wasn't one of his Bigfoot episodes several years ago. He was on a...
So who the hell would look for Bigfoot over there other than somebody from my channel?
Right. He nearly slipped off this cliff, and if he would have, he probably would have plummeted to his death. So he's regaining his composure and talking to the camera that, oh, I nearly slid off and everything. And not very far behind him, probably 15 feet behind him, under the cover of the shade of the tree, it looks like it's crouched down, this Bigfoot with giant shoulders, giant head, and the shoulders hit right here, and just a giant jaw, eyes, face, looks like a giant creature, like a Bigfoot there and everything. And so I made a little video of it. I took the best screenshot and ran it through some light filters and everything. Well, I sent it to Les Stroud. I wanted to know what he says about it. Usually when he's on survival things, he don't have a crew with him. He's usually by himself.
Exactly.
And so what a lot of people were saying is it's one of his sound guys or whatever hiding back there and stuff. And I'm like,
this ain't Expedition Bigfoot.
I go,
got a whole film crew out the woods.
Well, this guy looked like he had a jawline twice the size of Arnold Schwarzenegger's crouched back there. And I'm just like, I've been out in the field with Stroud and I've met his crew, and his crew look, I don't want to call them little people, but they're slender people. They look like they could run a marathon. Really in shape people, small people. I mean, this thing's huge. Well, anyway, I got a hold of Les and showed him it and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I don't know what it is. That's really interesting. Thanks for showing me and all that. And he verified it wasn't a crew member. He didn't have a crew with him that day and everything. And then something else after that happened, and it didn't happen before this, but after he almost slid off the cliff and caught that behind him. There were several times he's like, something's paralleling me in the woods. And he could never get his eye or camera on it and just didn't know what it was. And now in hindsight, I'm like, it's probably that Bigfoot or Yeti or whatever you want to call it hiding in the trees that started paralleling you after that. Let's fast forward a little bit. Bob Gimlin's YouTube channel, he gets Les Stroud to do an interview with him, and he gets him on there, and that's one of the things he asked him about was that footage. And Les Stroud says, a lot of people send us things saying, hey, we saw a Bigfoot in your video, and they go get the raw footage that hasn't been compressed or uploaded to YouTube, so it's better quality. So him and his editing crew, they'll go and look at these, and they can usually explain it off as a trick of light, shadow, sticks, whatever, but they couldn't explain this away. It very interesting. Looks like a person back there. So it's on his bucket list of hopefully to go back and find the spot one day and be able to rule out a statue of rocks under that tree that looks like a Bigfoot with the face. And yeah, Duke will show you. It's amazing. And then Survivor Man, Romania, Part 1. It appears Les Stroud unknowingly captures a Sasquatch-like figure at close range watching him from cover after Les nearly slid off the cliff edge. Les Stroud is filming himself as he absorbs what just happened while regaining his composure. I will include a link of this episode in the description of the video so that you can go watch it for yourself. There are a few seconds of footage on this episode starting around timestamp 35 minutes and 35 seconds. This is one of many frames from the original episode. After viewing this, I put it through some light filters to help enhance the figure that appears to be hiding in the shadows of thick forest. I zoomed in around 350% on the figure so that we can get a better look. I'm not saying this is Bigfoot or a Yeti. However, there appears to be a prominent brow ridge, some cheekbones, along with the characteristic domed head, no neck, just pure muscle from the head to the large shoulders that Bigfoot is known for. Not saying this is the eye socket of Bigfoot. However, we may be getting a clear look at the face of a Yeti or a Bigfoot. Look at that human-style nose and face with a large, powerful jaw. This may not be Bigfoot. However, this thing fits the characteristics of a Sasquatch, Bigfoot, or a Yeti. It has the dimensions, and it's doing what the creature does best, hiding in the forest and shadows while relying on its excellent natural camouflage while quietly observing everything in its environment. Today, it got a front row seat to an episode of Survivor Man and looked on as Les nearly took a tumble from a cliff ledge. Please go watch Les Stroud's episode linked below this video. It's a great episode of a beautiful wilderness and has this amazing capture of whatever is watching Les Stroud from thick cover. 35 minutes, 35 seconds, right around there. Let's talk about clusters. In the Vrancea mountains of Romania, a photographer got some amazing photos of a caveman Bigfoot looking creature. I mean, if it's a caveman Neanderthal, it's really hairy, like it's getting its winter coat or whatever. And one of the photos that the photographer got of it, it's pulling a big old log behind it, dragging it behind it. I put that out there. It was sent to Bigfoot Evidence, Sean Orevong, many, many years ago. And the photographer wanted to remain anonymous. He didn't want any notoriety, didn't want any money. He just said, I got these 3 photographs before it, noticed me and took off. I talked to Son about it, and he's like, yeah, nobody's ever come forward with any legitimate explanation. Naysayers will just throw mud out there and see if it sticks to the wall. These debunked naysayers are a dime a dozen, and most of them are pretty worthless. But I decided to do a video and put it out there because usually within a couple of days, if there's a legitimate explanation, like someone's like, hey, there was a movie that they filmed out there and blah, 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 blah. And here's a picture of the costume. I mean, all these years, nobody's ever been able to come up with a legitimate explanation. So that's got me going, what was that? So that was in the Vrancea mountains, and Duke will show you what he looks like. These photographs of Bigfoot or caveman-like hominid have always intrigued me. I have always thought a show or movie would come out with this being in the show. After 9 years on Bigfoot Evidence blog and 3 years on RMSO Bigfoot blog, nobody has come forward with a credible link to explain what was captured on camera in the Vrancea mountains of Romania, a region where people report sightings and encounters with Neanderthal-type creatures, more so than a Bigfoot. What puzzles me the most about this event is the creature was captured on camera in a place where most people can't afford the luxury of a nice camera, let alone the expense of a high-end monster suit. This photographer has not made a penny off of these photos, and that does not make sense at all. To secretly have a complex, high-end, and expensive suit and never recoup the costs in some way, like a movie, TV show, or commercial. Over 9 years and still no suit or credible explanation with proof has been located. When Bigfoot Evidence come across these photos over 9 years ago, San Orevong did some investigating and found the source photographer and his explanation of these amazing, mysterious photos. Forgive this man's dialogue. English is not his language. My name is Minea Vasileva. I'm 41 years old and I am a chemical engineer. My passion is photography. In this bat county far and wide to capture landscapes, people, animals, construction, etc. On Friday I was in Vrancea mountains on the road leading to the Lepsa Segle Targa Grasu. At one point, I saw something on the road. I thought it was a bear from a distance, seeing a hulking figure covered with hair, brown fur. So I went down to take a picture. Please note that I have a professional camera equipped with a telephoto. Being grabbed almost disappeared after the bend of the road. Just 2 pictures I took. Do not know what to think. I see the picture a strange creature resembling a man, but believe me, that was over 6 feet tall and moves very fast, not like a bear. There are a few moments in one's life where you feel that you can freeze the blood. For me, this was one. I know I get all kinds of crap on Mel, and I'd like to think that my way is not the type who post comments on forums and stuff. I make these available if you have doubts about the veracity of the pictures.
As I said before, English is not this guy's first language, and my pronunciation of foreign places is awful. However, you get the gist. We may never have any other solid evidence to explain what is in these photos other than the photos themselves. A modern day mystery. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.
Yep, Kelly's going to be sending the video.
And Duke liked it because the Les Stroud one, because it reminds him of the Sasquatch watcher on video near a structure in the Montana mountains.
Which I filmed accidentally. I was kind of paying attention to further back in the tree line where it looked to me like there was a big Bigfoot standing there watching me, and not paying attention to the little one in the brush pile 15 feet in front of me watching me. And thanks to Kelly zooming in on him and doing a much better version, you can actually see as you play it back and forth, his head's turning. That's not pareidolia. He's watching me and that camera as I'm turning the camera filming.
His head and face subtly, slowly moves.
Yeah.
He's keeping his face squared off at you. You got pretty close to him, too.
The best part of that is, though, that the reason that this connects up with the Romanian one is you look at the facial features and the chin and everything on this one, and then the same thing with the one that Les filmed over there in Romania. You know, they could practically be relatives. They look so similar, which, right, again, leans me heavily toward, yeah, I'm pretty sure Les got a Romanian Bigfoot on video. Good job, man.
Bringing you another Montana Sasquatch video from World Bigfoot Central. Several people have pointed out a very dark creature with a brownish caveman-like face, watching Duke as he hikes into some superstructures. The name of the video this is from is called Sasquatch at the Super X, The Watchers in the Woods, because Duke's team captured a grayish-color Bigfoot in the act of wood knocking near this same area. The subject in this video has sparked my interest. I enlarged the subject on video by 150% to get a better look, and did not enlarge any more to avoid pixelation. Not saying this is Bigfoot watching Duke in an area with a long history of Bigfoot activity. However, if it is a Sasquatch, it's a different individual than the grayish one they filmed wood knocking. This is a very dark brown or black. You can see its domed head, no neck, and powerful shoulders. The face, as expected, is lighter in color with a strong brow ridge, deep set eyes, and a large human-like nose. This Bigfoot subject reminds me of the one Les Stroud captured on video in the mountains of Romania, watching him from the cover of the trees. Same hard, chiseled face and strong brow ridge. I am going to play the video back and forth a few times so that you can get a good look at it. If this is indeed a Bigfoot, it is very creepy how close Duke got to it as it hid behind a tangled mess of deadfall. More than likely was a daybed area, and in my opinion, it is a great place to nap or sleep during the day. Lots of cover, and for anything like a human, bear, or mountain lion to get close to this Sasquatch, they are going to have to pick their way slowly through the tangled mess, and very unlikely that something could sneak through this deadfall without making the noise that would alert the Bigfoot to their presence. I hope you enjoyed a look at what may be a Montana Sasquatch in a secure hiding spot. Watching.
Yes, since he put it on his bucket list, I hope that he's able to go back there one day. I know from personal experience, when you're in a new place you've never been before and you hike dozens of miles, it's hard to pinpoint that location again. But I think because he nearly slid off that cliff, maybe he'll be able to find the place, and then he'll be able to say, you know, hey, there's not a rock statue in the cover of that tree.
I've nearly fallen off cliffs quite a few times, but you know what's even worse than that? Almost being washed off a cliff. I was in a slot canyon. I had to climb this 150-foot vertical rock face to get out of it. No problem. Plenty of handholds. I can stick my fingers and toes in. I can make it up to the top. The only problem, I was in kind of a chute, and when I got halfway up it, a thunderstorm came over. I was in a slot canyon. You couldn't see the clouds gathering. You couldn't tell there was a storm coming. It looked fine to me, but I got about halfway up the cliff, and then it started downpouring. Well, now I'm in this chute that's now acting as a waterfall. I'm clinging to the rock in the waterfall. the water is pouring down on me so heavily that I can't breathe. I have to actually put my head down like this and take shallow gasps where my chest is. That forms a little pocket with all the water pouring over me. And that one, I thought I was going to die, but after about 20 minutes, the downpour stopped. And it cleared up enough that I could make it the remaining 50 feet up to the top of the cliff. And yeah, don't take stupid chances. That was dumb. One of the many times I should have died because of stupid chance of taking. Avoid that. Safety first, last now. That's why I remind you guys that at the end of the show. So, yeah, I'm trying to really think about, I know you've had other really cool things sent into you this year, but right off the top of my head, I can't remember what they are. Because it's like fairly, geez, you guys, several times a month, he's going to scoop up something really cool from somebody else that he's got permission to share with you guys. So it's worth being over there.
Skamania Indian Reservation in Alberta, Canada.
Ooh, yeah.
They found some amazing footprints there. And not only is there giant adult tracks, you can also see in one of the photos of the trackway, you can see a juvenile track that's 90-degree angle from the adults. Like the juveniles are Bigfoot's running around doing its own things. The adults traveling in a serious straight line. The adults travel on like Patty, but you can see that the juveniles
zigzagging
running around kind
place.
of erratically. kind of reminds me of when my kids were little and we'd take them to the beach and there's zing, 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 zing all over the place, having to check out every shell and starfish. And I can imagine that's how a juvenile Bigfoot would be.
Oh, good Lord. Can you imagine trying to keep a rein on one of them? Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, the other...
but I was thinking that Skamania area is not too far north of where you live.
Right.
Sasquatch tracked on Blackfeet tribal land in Alberta. Legendary Wildlife Services posted the following Bigfoot tracks on RMSO Media, stating, these photos were taken on the Siksika Blackfeet Res by Richard Righthand. These giant tracks were over 8 inches wide near the toes and over 18 inches in length. They appear to have sunk in so deep that they fractured the substrate with the weight of the creature in comparison to the much smaller human boot prints that can be seen in some of the photos. I also noticed a smaller Bigfoot-shaped track in some of the photos, perhaps a juvenile or a young teen. The Alberta Rockies have a lot of Sasquatch activity, like the recent giant Sunchild Bigfoot captured on a trucker's dash camera. Early morning on May 30th, 2024, a trucker picked up equipment near Sunchild First Nations in the Rockies of Alberta, Canada, spots a large creature standing on the edge of an industrial site. The trucker did not see the creature until he was out of the truck walking toward the equipment he was about to load. He quickly ran back to his truck and drove off site. The dash camera recorded the creature as the truck drove onto site. Height estimates put this creature over 10 feet tall. And several years ago, a couple of Bigfoot captured on camera hiding and watching some Siksika tribesmen ride by on horses. I saw this video many years ago, and right away I could see 2 to 3 Bigfoot hiding in the tree line watching these people riding their horses. It was filmed in Siksika Nation on Axe Flats in Alberta, Canada. The video owner has never tried to make a big deal out of what he captured in the background. Many Siksika Nation folks have contacted me over the years regarding this video filmed on their tribal land. There are a lot of Bigfoot sightings by people riding horses, including the most famous Bluff Creek Bigfoot filmed by Bob Patterson. Horses help mask human scent with their own, and the sound of them walking, breathing, neighing, and snorting help cover up the sound of people in conversation. Obviously, Bigfoot do not perceive horses as a threat. These people were able to ride up on these Bigfoot hanging out in the cover of the tree line before the Sasquatches knew the horses had riders. The first Bigfoot also looks to be the largest in my opinion. It's laying down in the brush and undergrowth at the edge of the tree line. He lifts himself up with his hands or knuckles to get a good look and lays back down. Dark color, conical head, great color for camo. He just melts into the background when he lays down. The next Bigfoot steps from behind a tree and seems to have 2 shades of color that also make him or her melt into the background too. This one appears to be partially gray and black. It also has a conical head. It appears to step from behind the tree, take a quick look at the riders, and then it moves deeper into cover of the forest and tree line. Also, at the end of the video, the beautiful paint horse closest to the tree line and the Bigfoot bolts ahead of the group, and the rider has difficulty getting it to stop. Perhaps the horse smells and senses the Bigfoot watching them. I will show you the first Bigfoot zoom stabilized in half speed, forward then reverse. I will do the same with the second one. I removed sections of the original video so as not to show faces of some of the riders to keep them anonymous. This part of Alberta, Canada and surrounding areas have a history of many sighting reports, including Bigfoot photos and videos in nearby Calgary, Banff National Park, and all the way up to Jasper National Park. Then, a little further north, near Jasper, a Bigfoot was captured on video. Sent in to us by a guy named Conrad. This is what he says. I'm sending you the trimmed video as I can't upload the whole. I sent it to the Mountain Beast Mysteries dude, but he wanted the original video before he would comment on it. My buddy took this video in 2017 by Jasper, Alberta. Maybe you can check it out and tell me what you think. Thanks. He's playing it on an iPad and recording it with a cell phone. And here's the reason why. Conrad continues, my buddy Floyd had to stop and take a piss break, and they happened to come to a small pull-out stop area. His brother, I guess, saw something in the distance come walking down and told Floyd about it when he got back in the vehicle. Floyd said it was looking at some mountain goats to the left. After a while, it went walking to the right, and they tried to find a road that might take them closer, but there was none. The Mountain Beast dude said he knew exactly where this was and that it would be good to go there and try to get a size comparison video. I tried uploading the original video to email, but I never used an iPad and it wouldn't send the email because the file was too large. Sasquatch captured on trail camera near Kennedy Lake on Vancouver Island, British Columbia. Patrick writes RMSO. I have an interesting picture from my stealth game camera I would like you to see. I live in Nanaimo, British Columbia, and my trail camera is in a place near Kennedy Lake around the west coast of Vancouver Island. In the picture, there's a large face that triggered the infrared camera during the night. These are the images triggered during the night on November 29th from my trail camera. I circled the exact location of the face and head of what is possibly a Sasquatch. The face is looking toward the camera. Judging from how I set the camera, the subject is around 8 to 9 feet tall. My camera is a stealth with 5 meg resolution. RMSO responds, thank you for the images. What makes this most compelling to our team is the second image where the creature is no longer there, or possibly has moved to the upper right circle. This helped us to rule out a play of light and shadow. Something with a Bigfoot-shaped head and face was there, and now it's not. I put this infrared photo captured at night through a light filter, and it helped to bring out more details of a creature that indeed looks like a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch. Vancouver Island is well known for Bigfoot sightings and seems to be a major hotspot of activity in North America. We may indeed be looking at the image of a Vancouver Island Sasquatch. Amazing trail camera cat.
Well, the other one that you got, I don't remember if it was this last year or if it was just previous to it, or you got video sent to you of the horseback riders. Hey, there's like 2 or 3 of them sitting there in the woods watching these guys riding their horses fast. They're really obvious.
Well, the guy made no claim of anything. He captured it on the background of his video, and I did a breakdown of it, and he made no claims, and he didn't go there and purposely. I mean, he's filming his brother-in-law and kids riding their horses, and caught a couple of Bigfoot in the tree line, watching them crouching. One pops up a little bit, checks them out, and then goes back down to cover. Another one you see back into cover. But one of the horses freaked out. So I think one of the horses sensed them, smelled them, something. Yeah, one of the horses got spooked.
Yeah, well, that's a dead giveaway that it's not a guy in a suit.
Took off running up the trail and started bucking and stuff. The guy had a hard time getting control of it again, but I just think the horse sensed they were there and got away from him, then calmed down once it got a good distance away.
And probably when it lost the scent, as soon as it got away from where the scent was that was blowing to him, he went, oh, okay, I don't smell that scary thing anymore. I'm fine. And that's more proof that that's a legit video, because if you had a guy in a monkey suit, a horse wouldn't react to it like that.
Yeah, it's doubtful.
Very doubtful. The problem with you is you put out so much content. At the end of the year, I'm like, okay, we need to talk about this and this. And oh my God, you put out like 200 videos. I don't know. You're supposed to keep track of your own output. I can't remember everything, although I do watch all of it. It's just like you're saying, it just blurs together after a while.
One of the most recent Bigfoot sighting reports that I've ever gotten was from a 17-year-old kid. He's probably closer to 27, 30 years old now. However, he got a hold of me within a couple of hours of coming face to face with, I can't call it a Bigfoot. He said it was a caveman and Neanderthal, a wild man. I guess he fished a lot down at the bogs. Yeah, he put his bicycle down, walking to his fishing spot and out of the brush near the bogs and stuff. He was confronted with what he said reminded him of a Neanderthal-looking creature. He jumped on his bike, tore off home, got online wanting to like report it to someone, and he found our channel, sent me an email, and it was all in German. I had to use Google Translate and stuff to figure out what he's saying, but he was in panic mode, just freaking out what happened to him. I responded back and said, yeah, that you're not the first sighting that I've gotten from that part of Germany. Other people report that it looks like a Neanderthal. This kid thought I was going to jump the very next airplane and come out there and investigate. And now I know someone out there that if ever something like that ever happens again, I can get a hold of Tom and say, hey,
there you go
check out this kid sighting. He's crapping his pants. And he did not ever want to go down there to fish again. That like kind of ruined his fishing spot. After
that brings it around to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, having this wilderness research network. When something like that comes up now, Kelly's like, well, yeah, Tom's part of the network too. I'll just send the report to him. He'll probably drive up right over there and run around the woods, see a Bigfoot, chase it. He'll try and run toward it like Robert Boston did. I always remember, when you see a Bigfoot, do not run toward it. It freaks them out. They're scared of us to start with, and they think you're really crazy if you're running toward them, so don't do that.
Yeah, and any wild animal feel like it's cornered, it might not react in such a kind way.
Yeah, if nothing else, they can deafen you just by roaring at you, and that's only the start of the fun they could have if they feel too threatened. Boulder lobbing, tree swatting, all these things are possibilities. Avoid having it happen to you. Do not become a missing person 411 case or some kind of something mangled this guy out on this trail. I can't figure out what done it. Yeah, you don't want to be one of those people.
Well, that Vrancea creature that you're going to show, it reminds me of a really hairy Neanderthal. So that's in the European region. So possibly that kid down in the bogs of Germany, maybe he saw something similar to that.
Certainly could be. I mean, like we pointed out on the Germany show, that there's just a tremendous amount more forest in that country than people think there is. And most of those ancient forests connect to each other at some point. So they've got travel corridors that they can sneak all over Germany and stay in the forest for the most part. Kind of the same thing they do here in the western states, where we got all these big national and federal, state parks, local, blah, blah, blah. Like Montana, they all connect. It's all just one giant park, essentially, where they drew arbitrary borders and went, oh, this park ends here, and this one starts right here at the exact same spot. It's like, oh, how do you know it's a different park? You can't. On the map it says it is. But pretty much 90% of everything here in western Montana, all the mountain and forest and stuff, you can't build anything on it. It's all parks. So, yeah, Bigfoot have plenty of places to live here where they're not going to get harassed very much. And they get activity during the summer when the roads are all open and people can drive up in the mountains. But during the winter, snowmobilers, that's about it.
Yeah, we have a lot of seasonal gates here that close the end of November, sometime in December. They shut those down until spring, and you can still get in. Snowmobiles, if there's enough snow, or side by side, some of the places you can get in. Definitely not as convenient as being able to use the roads and stuff like you do in the summertime.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of people that snowmobile camp, really, compared to the amount of people that'll camp during the summer or something. The number of people that go by snowmobile and go camping during the winter is pretty freaking small.
I'm not into winter camping anymore.
Yeah, I got tired of freezing a couple decades ago myself. So
yeah.
Meanwhile, you guys get over there, sub Kelly's channel, make it even more gigantic. It's only got 105,000 subs on there now. He's got to make it to at least, 200,000 by next year. Yeah, that's it. That's look at his eyes.
That's going to happen.
That's freaking impossible, dude. Nothing's impossible. Everybody get over there. Start giving him more subs. I'd be happy if I could make it to 30,000. I'm never going to see 100,000 with my channel.
Well, nothing's changed from the day that I had 200 subs to whatever it is now. I enjoy doing it. It's an amazing hobby. It's like camping on steroids. I mean, I love camping. I love the outdoors, and it's just that extra excitement going into a place, knowing that 5 or 6 people saw Bigfoot there. 2 people filmed it. This guy got a photograph, and this guy casted footprints. It's just a little bit more excitement to the camping.
I know, super cool. Yeah, just camping all by itself is fun enough, and then this is like, oh, might actually have some Bigfoot activity, extra fun. So the nice part about it is, even if you get skunked, if you go to some new place, you're not sure there's Bigfoot there, you don't really have any activity or anything, who cares? You got to go camping. Camping's awesome. You can't lose.
I have never felt skunked because I love being in the place that, half a dozen people over the years have said they saw Bigfoot. Icing on the cake if there was a photo of it or a video. It's just fun to be in those places. I see a lot of gems in the United States that I never would have gone to other than someone saw a Bigfoot there, and you get in there and it's like, this is a really cool place. No wonder Bigfoot lives here.
I've noticed that pattern too. Anything that's like ultra gorgeous, deluxe, beautiful, and there's nobody living there. Yeah, that's because Bigfoot are living there. That's why they took over all those places. They've had them for a long, long time.
There's some sighting reports that are just so tough to get into. The little 1-lane dirt road is just pitted and boulders and rock crawling. And so I always ask people, would you please have your Bigfoot sighting in a place that's more convenient to get to?
Yes, I agree with that one.
No, there's plenty of those, but every once in a while you're like, oh my gosh.
I need to have my own Bigfoot sightings in places that are easier to get to, because inevitably they'll show up on camera when I'm the furthest out in the woods that I went the whole damn trip. And I'll be like, okay, I know about where that is, but it's like a half a day hike just to get to where I filmed this thing to shoot comparison video. And you're just beat to hell, and you just wasted most of another day going back to the same spot you're already at just to shoot comparison video and see if there was anything there. And then they usually screw it up and photobomb you, and then you got to go back there again anyway. Yeah. All right, you guys. So keep in mind now that neither one of us is rich. Bigfoot researchers don't make very much money. As a matter of fact, if I ever actually break even, I'll let you guys know. Hasn't happened yet. And Kelly and Jenny and their team spend quite a bit more than I do because they cover so much ground. Averages out to about 20,000 miles a year. That's a lot of wear and tear on your vehicles, blown out tires, and a lot of gas money. So if you guys can do anything to help Kelly, feel free. Buying merch from Kelly helps Kelly. And if you guys can do anything to help me, I need your help too. YouTube is definitely not giving me very much money to stay alive with. So live PayPal link down in the below doodly doop thing. Use that. Anyway, with all those wonderful things said, any parting comments, Kelly?
Just thanks for having me. Thanks everybody for watching. Please subscribe to both of our channels.
Everybody have a great day, and you keep on watching. Kelly will keep on squatching.
Thanks for watching.
And I'm going to warn you that don't go slap any Bigfoot or anything. You could be asking for it. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Don't hug the